We'll start with the script first. Good evening. It is now 6:32, and the meeting of the West Hartford Commission of the Arts will now come to order. My name is Chuck Corsi, and I'd like to welcome you to the virtual March 15th meeting of the Commission of the Arts. Because in-person attendance at meetings is likely to increase the risk of transmission of COVID-19, this meeting is being conducted in accordance with Executive Order 7B as extended by Executive Order 9A, which permits municipalities to conduct public meetings virtually. Commission members and some town staff are participating by WebEx. The public can watch this meeting on Comcast Channel 5, Frontier, TV Channel 6098, or www.whctv.org. With regard to the public comment portion, I wish to first emphasize that phone access to this meeting is only intended for members of the public who wish to actively participate and provide comments. If you are on the phone and do not plan to speak, please hang up and watch live television on West Hartford Community Interactive Channel 96, Frontier Channel 6099, or streaming at www.whctv.org. Again, if you plan to comment, please hang up your phone and stay listening to the meeting on your internet. Members of the public who are still on the phone, do not mute your device. The meeting operator will keep everyone's line muted until it is your turn to speak. If you mute your own line, the moderator may not hear your voice when she calls for comment. I will explain how the hand-raising process will work when we begin public comment. Because of the virtual format, there are some special rules and procedures that I need to cover before we begin. First, I ask all participants to mute your devices when you are not speaking. If you wish to be recognized, please raise your hand and I will call on you. If you are participating by audio only and I do not call on you, please unmute your phone and let me know so that I can recognize you. Second, pursuant to Executive Order 7B, all speakers must state their name and title each time they speak. Because of the difficulty in tallying voice votes on video, all votes must be taken by roll. I will now call the meeting to order. Okay, and let's find the agenda. Okay. I will now call the roll. Karen Bachman.
Here.
Matthew Burke.
Here.
Chuck Corsi is here. Latanya Farrell.
Here.
Nancy Hoffman.
Here.
Carol McCabe.
Here.
Mirela Sue.
Here.
Susan Rothenberg.
Here.
Great. Okay, we're cooking with gas now. Now, do I have a motion for approval of the minutes from February 24th, 2021 meeting? Or actually, I should say, does anybody have any edits or comments on the meeting or corrections? Okay, seeing none, do I hear, is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I'll make a motion.
Motion's been made made by Carol and seconded by Latanya. Let me read the roll call again, if I can find it. Okay. Karen Bachman.
Approve.
Matt Bragg is absent. Javier Colon. I think you're on mute, buddy. Yep.
Yes, there it is.
There we go.
Yes.
Chuck Corsi votes yes. Latanya Farrell.
Yes.
Nancy Hoffman.
Yes.
Carol McCabe.
Yes.
Mirela Sue.
Yes.
And Susan Rothenberg.
Yes.
Excellent. Too many things open. Okay, here we go. Okay, old business. First thing is partnerships. Mirela, could you give us just a quick update on the EV art partnership?
The commission met this past Wednesday, and we're just waiting on Town of Bloomfield to clarify a couple of details with regards of the coordinating the whole project. And we will reconvene on, I think, next week on
Yes.
Wednesday. And probably for the, the most updates will be available at our next meeting.
Great.
So far, that's it.
Great. And how about, we were talking before everybody got on, just maybe you and Hoff could give us an update on the potential West Hartford Symphony Orchestra spring outdoor concert.
So Richard shared with me that him and Javier agreed on either June 6th or June 13th as possible dates for the concert. And right now, Richard reached out to the KO administration to ask whether or not they will let the West Hartford Symphony Orchestra perform on the premises. So as soon as I hear anything, I will share with everybody. So far, we didn't get the no, so we're keeping fingers crossed.
Thanks, Mirela. Do you have anything to add, Hoff?
No, Mirela had more information than I did, so I'm glad that she took the lead on that. I'm excited to do it if we can make it happen. Hopefully that works out with KO. But both Richard and I are excited about the idea of possibly getting to do it. So fingers crossed.
Excellent. And if KO doesn't work out, we'll try something else.
Yeah.
But I really think that KO would want to, assuming the date works for them, they'd want to jump at it because it's a great opportunity to get people on that beautiful campus,
Right.
Prospective students and their families.
Absolutely.
All righty. Any questions of Mirela or Hav? If it's all right with you, I'd like to hold off on the website discussion until we get down to new business. I had that there twice.
I just wanted to ask a question.
Sure.
So that use of KO, was that an outdoor on their campus?
Yes, that's correct. Yes, on the green.
All right. Thank you.
And we talked about the 13th being Father's Day. Is that still good?
It's still, people will be out. The concert, the way we were discussing, should take place somewhere around 3. So if people go to lunch and then come attend a concert, or vice versa, come to the concert first and then go for dinner, it's still a beautiful package for dads.
Mm.
And I think also to your question, Sue, is that anything that we do obviously will have to be in accordance with the governor's rules on social distancing, all that good stuff. We're not going rogue here.
We're not.
Okay, artist outreach. I wanted to, and again, first off, thanks to Hav and Latanya for taking the lead on this and helping to generate some great buzz and press around the database, and most importantly, getting people to sign up for the database. What I was hoping to do tonight is see if folks might have some suggestions on how, we've done a really good job at getting people to sign up, but now how do we reach consumers, people that may not know that this database exists, and to get it out there to people. I've got a few ideas, but I'm more interested in listening to what some of you, all of you, might have to on the topic. Yes, Nancy?
I did not look this week. Does anyone have a number of how many are signed up?
I do.
Latanya?
Yeah, I do. Currently, we have 47 artists on the list, ranging from comedians to visual artists, theater, music, dance, people that are, characters, that people that like to draw characters of people. Like, there's a wide range of various artists that have signed up. So that part is that's exciting and fun to see. But yeah, I too, like Chuck, have been wondering, like, okay, what's the next move? How do we get this database into prospective individuals who would like to connect with the art? And the other question I have too is, looking at the database, it's basically a spreadsheet, but is that something that, I mean, I can format it out a bit more for folks. It seems to be, it's as if it's hosted on my Google account, meaning that any kind of questions that have come, they've come to my email, which that's fine. There's only been a couple. But that thought too. And then again, that was completely manageable on that front, but just.
Okay. Yes, Karen.
Well, I'm kind of old school. Like I read a newspaper still. And so this kind of thing needs to be explained. Like it doesn't lend itself to just a blurb. And I'm wondering how you can explain it. I mean, what do people watch? Could we get on the 5 o'clock or 5:30 news or of course, a lot of people watch the, unbelievably so, but I don't know if they're doing it. WeHa has a blog, 2 guys interview. My son happened to be on it once with his business, and people for the next 3 or 4 days were saying, I saw your son. I'm surprised. People have like a 35, 40 age. Because I know they don't read the paper like I do. They might get their news from other sources. I'm not sure how you use the Facebook, but there might be an opportunity. It's just that Facebook you need an article to refer Facebook to almost, to explain it better. And WeHa, I guess, will always be an example of that. But even for like it to be explained what kinds of artists are on there, who people might think, oh, I don't need an artist, but maybe a family would like to have a caricature for their kid's bar mitzvah or birthday party or a sweet 16 or that kind of stuff. There is a variety the last time I looked. So the current, well, it's really shrunk, but they do have a community. Is it Thursday it comes out? And there are articles. And also the current seems to have been interested in covering things about everything opening up. There was an article today about Mayor Bronin's plans for the city. So some way to explain it better and give it a little pump. Yeah. I don't know.
Do you remember, Karen, was it the show that your son was on? Was that called 2 Guys and a Lot of Wine?
No, it wasn't. It's 2 guys though. And it was through WeHa. I don't know how many people watch cable TV, but yeah, there is a cable TV show. It's on the local cable channel.
Yeah.
And I think people do watch that. But no, he was on the it's Troutbrook Landscaping, and he was on the
oh sure, he was on the they have like an open conversation.
Like maybe a podcast. It isn't pod though, because you can hit it right from the site. People watch it. I mean, I'm amazed, that people find their way to it. So I think they're pretty independent about, their own way of doing it. I used to know their names. I don't anymore, but Ronnie Newton probably knows their names.
I think I wonder if that's the one that John Lyons and Ronnie does.
No, it's 2 guys. They're young, because I happen to know a young woman.
Oh, Ryan Keating.
Maybe. Yeah. Maybe.
Yes.
Yeah. And
okay.
Yeah. And also, I just thought of another print source. What about, besides one of those papers that come to our home. A lot of people do read the West Hartford, not the news, not the press, the other one.
Press.
Life.
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 Life. That one's a little bigger. There's usually articles about new businesses and, you know, would lend itself to a couple of pictures.
Yeah.
Even to explain, it looks like a database and there's a picture of what the database, but it's, you know, it's very user friendly if you
Yeah.
figure it out, you know, you look at it. That's all. That's what I have.
Carol?
I think that's a great idea, West Hartford Life, because that does go to every home, I think. Even if you don't want it to, it does. It's always at the driveway. But what about through the schools? I'm thinking of parents. You know, you're trying to reach parents, right? Because I know I'm out of that loop right now. But I'm wondering, is there any way through the school publications? How do they communicate with parents?
I'm with you, Carol. It's been I'm out. This is my first year out after 22
Right.
years. But I think that they send home a newsletter. But I also think that, I mean, we could not advertise. We could put something on the Board of Ed. I think we could get Renee McHugh to send something out also.
That would be great.
Yeah. I think ideally, and I don't think we have this yet, but if there was somebody who actually was employed, who actually got a gig out of this, if somebody, and I don't know how we know, and
Right.
You just heard it through the grapevine, or how did you know?
No, I don't know. I said,
Oh, you don't? Oh, I thought you said
pitch.
Oh, I thought you said there was someone. Okay.
No. If we were going to pitch, I mean, what would be a really good news story is if we had a person who said, yeah, I got this gig. I, juggled for this guy's birthday party and I made $50.
Right.
Something like that would be catchy. But I also think we could also, with the media, maybe profile a couple of people and say, well, if you need a face painter for a birthday party, one of the things I was kicking around was trying to reach out to funeral directors. Do you need a choir for a virtual memorial service? There's a lot of different, and I think, Karen, you're absolutely right. It's the best way to explain it to people is giving them the examples.
Right. If I may, Chuck, absolutely, I completely agree. Funeral director thing is actually a great idea. I know that families, were looking for different ways to celebrate their loved one in those situations. So that's a great idea. I also think if we were going to do the television route, like you said, to maybe showcase, bring some talent with us and say, hey, this is what we're doing, and these are the types of folks that we have. Let them, explain the situation that they've been in over the last year and how it would help to get some local shows. So even if we haven't had any as of yet, this is kind of the way to basically say, well, we're rolling it out. We're just getting started, and that's why we want to let everybody know. I think that'd be great if it was possible to get on, some of the local news stations with some of the talent that we're trying to showcase.
Yeah, I'm thinking that my friend Kara Sundlin and Scott Haney, they do an afternoon show that's much longer, and they have more time to do funny stuff. This might be something that they might be interested in. A longer segment that's more than just 30 or 60 seconds.
Right.
Okay, why don't we do this? I encourage y'all, send me suggestions, and what I might do, I'll take your suggestions and then maybe circulate, kind of an outreach plan, and something that's a living document that you can add to or critique, change, add, whatever. That might Do you think that it sounds like a good idea on how to go forward with this? Nancy, I saw your hand.
Well, another thing is the Facebook Neighbors and Friends of West Hartford. That
Absolutely.
seems to get real good coverage. I was amazed.
20,000 followers. I think
Is
they're
that
knocking
right?
on the door of 20,000
Oh my
followers
Wow.
It's awesome.
for a town of 63,000. It's not bad.
That's Patty.
Yeah, she's fabulous. Patty, she is absolutely fabulous. What an incredible service. Okay, yeah, that's definitely needs to be a part of it. Latanya.
I was going to say, I loved the idea of, I think it was Carol who said, the idea of getting some of those artists out there. Perhaps I can send an email. I have all of their email addresses, or pick a couple of them. The person who is a, caricature or a comedian, get these different books out there and see if they would be willing to kind of talk to media as well as to what they're looking for out of this and what their experience has been.
Absolutely.
I can send them emails. I can send an email out to them.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would. Yeah, I think that's a great idea, and maybe even ask them. Would anybody? Maybe we should do that a little bit more targeted, so we don't get. I was going to say we could send an email. Does anybody want to? If we were so lucky to get interest from television, who would like to go on TV? Maybe we better be a little bit more targeted. Because if we got like 5
Absolutely.
singers, I mean, I do think, like for TV, I think the caricaturist, the juggler, and maybe, like a singing group.
Need to keep control.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah,
let's put that in our plan, Latanya.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
I also think that depending on time, for Better Connecticut, I mean, they'll give us time. I don't, sometimes it's a 3-5 minute segment somewhere in there. I don't know that we would, I think maybe, like you said, if we targeted 2 specific folks,
Yeah.
either say it was, a singing group and a visual artist or a juggler per se. I think that'd be great. But I think any more than that would probably not get shown. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Would you go? Yeah, absolutely. And then we can always, or I'll say you guys as our Artist Job Bank ambassadors, you guys can talk about the wealth of other performers, artists that are on. Yeah, I think that's great. Okay, well, any other comments before we move on? So why don't you, think about it? If you have any epiphanies, shoot me an email and we'll put together a plan that we can discuss at our next meeting.
Sounds good.
Great.
Okay. I've been, if we move on to D-Town outreach, and actually this kind of a couple of different things. But murals and public art is really, interest in that is really picking up. People wanting to do public art, which is a really good thing. Kristen Gorski, the town's economic development coordinator, had reached out to me about the possibility of having artists paint the Jersey barriers that are going to be installed on LaSalle Road this spring for outdoor dining. And I also received a call, and I spoke with a gentleman who is opening a business on Isham Road, and he is it's the building across from the parking garage on Isham that's behind French Cleaners,
Mm-hmm.
and it's got the big. It's the antenna building. It's got like the Death Star antenna on top of it, and he'd like to. And the owner of the building, they'd like to do a mural on the side of the building, and which is great. So I was, Chris and I were talking. Let's talk about the Jersey barriers first. She realizes that, it's better that if they were painted before they were installed on LaSalle Road, the painting could probably get damaged. So she thinks it would be best that we paint them, or that they be painted once they're installed. As Mural is finding out with the electric vehicle mural, painting those spaces. There's a lot of different things to consider, and again, I'm a big believer in trying to get something done, and get it done right, but not debating it. So the thought is that this, obviously, we don't have any money to pay artists to do this. I would guess, and Mirela, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but probably to paint Jersey barriers in front of one restaurant, maybe if you include the stipend in the paint, we're probably talking about $1,500. Does that make sense, Mirela? I mean, give or take. But we would this would be something that would be incurred by the restaurant where the Jersey barriers are. It would not be something the town pays for, but it's something that we are giving them the opportunity to do that if they so choose, if they want to beautify their areas. And a lot of the restaurants did do that by bringing out plants and things to kind of make the Jersey barriers look a little nice. We make the town do that, so it's not a lot of. But the thing we need to do is to make it simple to get permission from the town, because that's whenever you do art, which in the road, it's going to be on the roads and the sidewalks. That's I don't want to say it's town land, but it's in the right of way, and the town has to give its blessing to do that. So my thing is that there should be a very clear and concise procedure for, say, Rich Rosenthal wants to do something in front of Savoy. We have to make it simple for him to say, oh, I'd love to paint these barriers. How do I do it? Well, here's an application that you fill out with the town, the procedure to go through, and we have an artist job bank. You can pick your own artist, but here's a good place to start. And we're kind of, we're not judging what's good art or bad art or what the design should be. That's between the owner and the painter. And again, the town, the only restrictions that artists have is that it can't be used for marketing. It can't, the mural can't be, eat at Savoy, buy one pizza, get one free, or anything like that. It has to be art. I did, it's something I think we have to be aware of. It would be the town that decides, that would sign off on what part of the application process is that they have to provide a rough sketch and a concept for the mural. The town does not censor content. My question was, if there's something that folks found really offensive, what is the town's policy? And it's very consistent, is that the town does not determine what is art and what isn't. You can paint anything. I mean, there have been a lot of instances. I think, I don't want to, I don't think any of us want to be in the position where or the town or the arbiter of what's art and what crosses the line. I'm interested in other people's feelings. I think there's always a risk when we're talking about promoting art, especially in public places. But if it does come to something that gets, and I doubt this is going to happen. But I kind of, it's what I do for work. I always think of the worst case scenarios, and there may come a time where people may say, for whatever reason or whatever, I'm kind of offended by that, and I see that as it's an opportunity for public discussion also, and art is supposed to make us think. I mean, I'm kind of dancing around and going around in circles here, but I just wanted everybody to be aware we're not in a position where we have to give, the West Hartford Commission on the Arts our stamp of approval is that's good or no, that's bad. That's going to be up to the town. But really, if you want to paint your house a hideous color and your neighbor finds it offensive, it's your right. And there's certain zoning regulations that you have to abide by, but as long as you follow the regulations, that's you're allowed to do that. So I've spoken a lot on that. I'm interested in what other people. Yes, Nancy.
Just thinking if they are supposed to be, if the barriers are supposed to be painted after they're in place, what time do you think the artists would be painting them with traffic going past?
Excellent. That's the easy part. And actually, I wanted to ask the artists on the phone, or those that know artists, what would be the best time, because they would have to close the roads down to do that. There is an expense on that. I have not been told that we would bear the expense, because it's a good thing, because they're not going to get any money out of us. But
Right. Besides, Matt's not here.
yeah, exactly. They were looking at doing it maybe a Sunday morning, like 7 to 11 sort of thing. I don't know, Mirela, you've got some experience with your husband, I guess. What do you think are good times?
Well, I think that's a good time, especially that, the warmer weather, it's probably going to be a factor. So I think having everyone on the same time frame, that's going to be, in alignment, and then that should work beautifully.
Yeah. The thing we have to be very sensitive to, especially on the South Road, is we have some retailers, not restaurants, but, I think of my friend John Green over at Luxbond. Parking and traffic is essential to their business. And if we stop traffic in the middle of the day, like or a busy time for them, that's not going to fly. But maybe early Sunday morning.
Or Saturday morning.
Or Saturday morning
before stores open.
Yeah. I'm not sure. How long do you think folks would need? Is 4 or 5 hours?
Depends on their
design, on
yeah.
how meticulous they are as artists.
Yeah.
Also, yeah.
Okay. Well, I'll report that back.
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
Perhaps would be worth having a second chunk of time.
I think so.
Yes.
I think so. We're thinking of, the town was thinking of doing it, having 2 dates to do it, but maybe people could come back, and I mean, there's no reason why they can't take 2 separate days to do it. Susan, did I see your? Yeah.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify. So you said the town has specified they are requiring they need to see drafts of the artwork?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
It's it's like if you go and do a sign, you want to put a sign on your building, you have to get approval from the town, and I think they'd ask for a little bit more, something more specific. But yeah, there would have to be, this is what we're thinking of. Okay. Yes, Nancy.
Do you know approximately the size on those? I've seen them.
No, just from my memory. Just from my memory, it's, some are bigger than others. I think Aver, How do I pronounce that right? Carol, you're the expert. I can't hear you. You're on mute. This is very important.
I mean, I say Aver, but I don't know.
Aver. No, I
think it sounds better.
Yeah, Aver. I think Aver had a bigger one. I think some of them had it smaller. Barcelona had a huge one. They won't be doing them at first on Farmington Avenue because the MDC is not done with Farmington Avenue yet. God bless the MDC. So hopefully I'll have more to report on that. And then, we have the MLK mural that's going up and is going to be unveiled on Juneteenth, on June 19th. And there's a great, Matt Conway and his group are planning a big celebration, lots of different events going on that day. But again, back to the murals, not just these Jersey barriers in the town, but I've been talking to the town planner, Todd Dumais, and Brian Pudlick, who's the zoning enforcement officer. And it's my hope that by the time we meet next, if you go to the town website, there will be a place where it'll say murals, permits for murals, and you can click on it and go. And again, that's something that we'll want to publicize in the community, so that people know, hey, I've got this piece of property that has an ugly wall, and I'd like to do something with it. So, and I'd love to see more of the murals, not just in West Hartford Center, but other places in town. But that's up to the property owners. It's not up to us, but I think there's a lot of stuff, a lot of places out there to work with, especially around New Park as well. Okay, any questions on the murals and the Jersey barriers? Okay, moving right along. We are awash with cash. Matt's on vacation. Events. Just kidding for the public that's listening. We have no budget and we have no money. Just wanted to make sure that was clear. Events. Nancy, Karen, can you talk a little bit about, we had a conversation with the Artists Collaborative last week about the Mayor's Charity Ball. And we're going to be meeting again. The collaborative is going to be meeting again in the next week or so. But you want to give just a quick update on some of the things that we talked about?
Okay, maybe Nancy will remember. Oh no, Nancy's not on. I'm on that committee, so that's how I was there.
Yeah.
It's first of all, it's the West Hartford Arts and Culture Collaborative, not the Artists Collaborative. That's a whole other organization. Yeah, we had a pretty good attendance at this last meeting, and I think our purpose was to discuss some things about what's our commonality and what's our reason for being, if we are going to be. And the possibility of the mayor's charity event, formerly known as the Mayor's Charity Ball, because originally that's why we came together. Chuck presented the idea that they wanted to morph that, keep the idea of the celebration, but morph out of a ball format. And then COVID hit, and then we became aware that there were some reasons to be as a collaborative, and started to grow in that direction. We started with some advocacy efforts. And now we have a website, which we have to figure out how to finance. And we have, we also have a Facebook page. And each one of us in the different organizations, mine is the West Hartford Women's Chorale, we are administrators. We can post things about our organizations, but now there are organizations approaching the person who actually set the website up, as well as setting up the website, as well as the Facebook page, wanting to ask if they could get their events published, like use those as forums. So we have all of that to discuss. But I think in general, you correct me if I'm wrong, Chuck, the mayor's charity event was not something this group at this point in time was taking on as its reason to be, that there were many other cross sections. And one of the things they were really interested in fact, they kept asking me and Chuck about this organization or this committee, this commission, was to have some better connection to this commission and some of the concerns that are on the minds of these organizations. They're pretty varied. And understanding what's happening on this commission so that they could either hook into it or just be more knowledgeable. And I guess, Chuck, you decided maybe that you could send the minutes to the members. Yeah,
I sent them, yeah.
And the agenda too, I guess, the agenda. Yeah, they actually were pursuing me to be like a liaison for them on this committee, which, you know, I don't know if that's exactly needed, but I'd be happy to help with, because at some point Chuck was trying to phase his leadership in this out so that he could focus on this commission and other activities. He's got a million of them, as you can tell. But right now we need him, I think, to help us convene meetings. But it is an organization of many organizations that is interested in promoting the arts. We're now doing a survey about what each of us sees as our 3 main important areas. And Chuck, we all sent it into him, and Chuck published the results to all of us so we could see where the commonalities are. And we're about at the next meeting to discuss some of those commonalities. But some of it is cross-marketing and possible collaborations between the organizations, easing that. Another is advocacy for the arts, for sure, and that sort of crosses over with what we're doing over here in this commission. So it's a pretty vibrant group, and I can see that it'll grow as more people understand that it exists. We had somebody new attend the meeting last week, and he was represented by it's the Shakespeare organization, the one that
Capital
does
Classics.
Capital
out
Classics.
of St. Joe's, yeah.
Yes, so that's a West Hartford organization. He attended to try to figure out what we were about, and I can see that will happen more because every organization that represents performance or art are not in it. If I could try to run through for you who is in it. I know the Art League, it's called Arts and Culture. So Noah Webster House is also one of the original members. The West Hartford Women's Chorale, the Symphony, the West Hartford Symphony, the Community Theater, that's the one that gives the big shows on, they used to have their traditional show and then they have smaller ones during the year, but the big one was around Thanksgiving, right before Thanksgiving. Yeah. And then who else? Of course, Park Road Playhouse, the West Hartford Playhouse on Park. Yeah, I remember when it opened the other way. I think Tracy winces every time I say it the wrong way. And the West Hartford Ballet Theater. There's another group. They weren't
West Hartford Connecticut Family Theater.
Family Theater.
Children's Theater, yeah.
And I think that's it.
Right? Yeah. No, that's a great update, Karen. And we may actually have some members, because I did send out the agenda and the minutes from the February meeting to all the members of the collaborative on Friday. So we might have some listening in, and who knows, maybe some might share their thoughts during the public comment. I will say that one of the things that, in looking over what people wanted to focus on, coming together to put on and produce an event, a town-wide event, is not one of them. So this group will not be, at least for the time being, will not be doing, will not be the organization that will produce the next iteration of the former mayor's charity ball, which is fine, because it takes a lot of resources. A lot of these organizations are not that big. A lot, they don't have huge budgets, they don't have huge staffs. So that's understandable. And, I appreciate everyone's frankness, but again, we're going to talk more about that. The good news is, I believe there is another I've nothing to report right now, but in talking with the mayor, she has some ideas, and she also understands, where the collaborative is coming from too. So stay tuned for that.
One thing
any-
to add, yeah, one thing
Yep.
to add was several of the organizations, and then I think all of them became interested once it got raised, is the whole idea of having some policy of performing in the parks. That
Yes.
that's been a topic we've discussed here, and the town and what its attitude might be and what kind of policy they'll have, because everyone's looking at the fact that maybe they could produce something small in a public park this summer, this fall, when it will be safer and guidelines will be clearer. So universally, I think there was interest in keeping updated on that possibility.
Yes.
And
Great.
I want to put it on our, since we're using their website for our list, we might want to put West Hartford Arts and Culture Collaborative on our agenda. Even if we have nothing to report, we can
Sure.
just skip through it, but we might want to put them in there since they represent a group. It represents a group of organizations.
Actually, Nancy, yeah, you know what I'll do is I'm going to put that on our old business committee updates each week, or I'm sorry,
Okay.
each month, and you can keep us informed as to what's going on. And I can help with that too, as long as I'm still puttering
You're
around.
still roped in. Okay.
Okay. Any questions for Nancy? I'm sorry, for Karen. Okay, seeing none, let's move on to new business. Yeah, just to actually follow up on Karen's conversation report on the collaborative. One thing that the collaborative does want is, we have the website, but again, the website was developed. It's a beautiful website, and we're very grateful to Stephanie at the Ballet Theater Company for taking the time. And it took her a lot of time to put it together, but there's an expense with that. And she did all that for free, volunteer, and she updates it. As when we asked her to add the artist job bank, she was very happy to do so, and we're very grateful that she gave our artist job bank a home. But this is something that's going to be needed. It's going to be needed to be updated as new folks join, new organizations join, and things change. The members of the collaborative also want, and I think it's something we've talked about before, is a calendar of events. There are so many. I've been doing research on calendars in West Hartford. There are so many different calendars out there. The town has a calendar on their website. That's mostly town business. Different commissions like ours, or the council, board of ed, and other things. The chamber has theirs. There's WEHA has a calendar, but there's nowhere where you can go and see, what's going on tonight. Is there a show? Is there an exhibit? Is there a performance? Is there a juggler? And that's something that's a tall ask to ask of the collaborative, especially when we're asking volunteers. That's a big ask of them, and I wouldn't feel comfortable asking, putting that back on Stephanie and the collaborative. There is a new effort underway, and Karen, we talked about this at the meeting. The town and the Chamber of Commerce have in a joint endeavor are working on a website, or they've actually hired someone to develop a website. The website is going to be called Y West Hartford, with a capital WH small y West Hartford. And this came about because a lot of the realtors in town expressed the same concern. It's like, what, when we had all these, we have all these people that were fleeing, Manhattan, looking for a place in the suburbs to live, but there was really no place that really marketed, no one website that marketed West Hartford. again, you have a chamber site that's really geared more towards business, the town site geared towards the town government and business. But there wasn't something that brings it all together. And yeah, I've spoken with Chris Conway at the chamber and with Matt Hart and Sherry, and I very strongly believe that this new website should be the place that not only hosts a calendar of events for arts and culture, but also could take over the pressure and host the website for the collaborative. Because again, I mean, this is something the town and the chamber is paying for. It's not going to have a particular town government or chamber bent. It's mostly to show West Hartford, all the great things about West Hartford, what's going on, what we've accomplished, what we're doing. It's meant to be very interactive. But I think that that's the place, and I'd be interested to hear your opinion that, we should have this calendar. We can't have it if we can't put a calendar of events together as a commission and have the town do it. We got to find someplace, and I think this new Y West Hartford site makes a lot of sense. So I'm interested to hear any questions you might have or thoughts on that. Makes sense?
I always have questions and thoughts on this, but I'll cede to Carol. You speak first, and I'll.
Carol, you're on mute.
I'm sorry, I keep forgetting that. I think it's a perfect fit. I think it's a great idea. What was the timeline again? You said, when are they working towards getting this going?
I think like in the spring.
Oh, that's soon. Okay.
Yeah, it's coming up. I mean, yeah, the timeline, they're putting, they're gathering things together. Some of the organizations that some of you guys have been associated with. I know the Playhouse is giving them photos and stuff. But again,
great.
We need a home. We need a home for our calendar of events and our website. Okay,
that was my only question.
Well, my thoughts were, we've needed a calendar for a really long time. And if we can have a calendar for signing up for the banner under the Department of Public Works, we certainly can have an arts and culture calendar. I mean, because everybody benefits, the restaurants benefit if they see there's two things that are going on in an evening, on a weekend, or whenever, they can kind of get an idea what's going on out there. The people benefit, of course, from it because they have one central location, and the community benefits because everybody wants to live in a community where there's lots to do. But the updating of it, the website that we have is designed to not have too much update going on. Each of the pages that the organizations have a button to their own website, and so we're updating our own websites. But it gives us more of a collaboration around people going to a more central website to find out about different organizations. But it doesn't take the place of a calendar. We've needed that for a long time. I think it's a great idea. If you can make that magic happen, Chuck, that would be terrific for all the organizations in town and the separate artists and anybody putting anything on,
Excellent. Anybody else? Okay, well, we'll proceed with that. Okay, that's unless anybody has any. Is there anything, just of the commission members, anything that you would like to see us talk about under new business next month that we haven't been discussing? Okay. So moving on, there are no reports, and which leads us to public comment. So Megan, do we have anybody on the phone that would like to speak with us tonight?
There's nobody on the line, no.
Nobody on the line. Okay. All righty. Before we adjourn, again, is there anything else that? What's that? I saw some waving.
I
Oh,
had,
I'm sorry, Latanya. You were blocked by my agenda.
oh, great. Thanks a lot.
Too many windows open.
No, I was thinking and I was gonna hesitate, but then I'm like, no, just say it. When Karen was talking about the calendars and how we have all of these different calendars, my mind just goes to technology again and how to make those things merge. And I think about, as a principal, my calendar, I have so many different events from different individuals and different committees and different, folks that merge their calendar to that I allow to merge my calendar to their calendar, if that makes sense. And I just, back to my, it's like I'm a fan of Google in that way. I'm not quite sure what platforms folks are using for their calendars, but there's gotta be a way, even if folks agree to use a similar platform for their calendars, there's gotta be a way that those activities can be merged to one West Hartford calendar. The technology is there to make that happen. It's just probably a matter of folks agreeing to use a similar platform, or perhaps they're all using the same platform and there's a certain link of joining calendars that would allow that to happen. Because it is fairly simple. My calendar, my personal calendar is populated by things that I do at home and that my family can add on there. It's populated by my secretary at school. It's populated by the different PPTs and 504s that I have to have as an admin. It's just, so there's a way to do it. There's a way to have one centralized calendar. And again, it just may be a matter of talking to the different folks who are actually managing those calendars, seeing what platform they're using for the calendars and see if they're, if it's the same platform, then perhaps there's just a way of just accepting each other's calendars so that all of those events are merged to one. That's all.
Yeah, no, well said. Hopefully this firm that they've hired, I'm sure I hope they're smart. I wasn't part of the selection process, but I'm sure that they'll be able to do just that. But it's very simple. It's a simple thing. It's something we've needed forever. But what's not simple is deciding, okay, who's going to own it? Who's going to do the work? Who's going to populate it? Once they get all the information from all the different organizations, it always comes down to, okay, who's going to do the work and who's going to host it. But hopefully good news is on the way with this website. I'll keep you informed and have an update at the next meeting. Any other? I've got my screen is just all of your lovely faces. I'm not blocking anyone with my agenda. Anybody have anything else they'd like to add before I ask for a motion to adjourn? Mirela.
As Nancy and Carol, I know that last time, and actually we exchanged some emails regarding the display of art in empty storefronts. Yes.
Excellent.
So I was wondering if that idea of us supporting the Art League in their efforts to reach out to maybe more landlords, or if that could be a support to them.
Nancy, what's your thought? You go ahead with my mute.
Well, thank you. I don't think the problem is finding the empty storefronts or the contacts. The problem is getting the word out. We throw emails out constantly, and I don't know who all gets them or what, and advertising, WeHa, so forth. It's just getting the word out. And one of the problems, having the art in the windows is good, but when you watch people, they're going down the street. They don't even look. And the one time we had a full store with art, and the owner of the building had a huge sign in the window, available. You couldn't see in the window. So it wasn't worth it. I don't know how you control that, because they want to rent the building or the store. But if you have the art in there, no one's seeing it.
Did anyone go down to Blueback to see it? I went down to see it. It was a very small display, but it was very nice. But I was wondering, Nancy, that old Charming Charlie space is huge, but they must have only given them a small area to do it, right? I was surprised at how small it was. And then I was thinking, the one I saw, and I think I sent Chuck a picture, I have the picture, but actually they painted a sign right on the window, and I don't know if the landlord would let you do that. Here they didn't. It said like art for the street. So it really grabs your attention.
The last one that we had that was taken down the end of January, I believe, middle of February, was much larger. It just filled all the way around the corner, and there were shops on Farmington Avenue and on LaSalle. So there were a whole lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly it's the problem of getting the word out.
When you say getting the word out, you mean to the landlords? Is that what you're saying? Or
No.
You mean to the public to come see? Yeah.
Yeah, if a little pamphlet could be done with where all these art pieces are located, and if the public could go on art walk
trail
to visit all these, yes, to visit all these displays, I think it would be a fun afternoon out in town, and visit some other businesses. And
Yeah, Carol, pox on me. I can't believe I forgot to include that on the agenda, because it was on the last agenda, and
All right.
my fault for not carrying it over. Let's keep it on next month's agenda,
Okay.
and we can discuss it more then, or whether or not we think that that's something worthwhile pursuing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Carol, who sponsored that? Who was in charge of that?
That was what was out. It was a museum that sponsored it, Princeton University Museum.
Large. We have 3 employees. Only one is full time, and that's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
Now, if we would ask other people to do it, get the art and put it in, that's really stepping on the art league's toes pretty harsh.
Yeah, see, that's where I think we need some kind of guidance on that. Like, what are your thoughts on that, Chuck?
I think maybe it might be best for you and Nancy to have a conversation with Roxanne.
Okay.
I think that's really the best place to start. And she says, we got it covered. They do a good job with what they're doing. That's fine too. But I think it's very helpful to anytime we can interact with the arts and culture organizations and try and get them involved. That's great, even if it doesn't come to anything.
Yeah.
Maybe something else.
Right.
Maybe something else will come.
Nancy and I will be in touch.
Okay.
One of the thoughts I had was, if the painting of the Jersey barriers goes through, that there actually could be like an unveiling weekend, and then the idea of a list with a map, is available in certain spots. So you even know who's done the Jersey barriers, as well as the pieces of art, and a push maybe to get art back into the storefronts a bit. I think the Art League knows how to do this, because they have had weekends, haven't they, Nancy? Where
Yes, we've had We've had it several times.
Yes, and it's been in stores that are open for retail, not just empty stores. So
Right.
combining any event is good, I think, in terms of giving a lot of, I just thought I'd throw it out. Maybe it's something you could discuss.
Excellent suggestion. Any other, and again, I'm sorry I bumped that off the agenda. Yes, Nancy.
On the bus shelters, the Art League had a sheet that had the name of the artist and the artist's history, or, you know, where they studied or where they're from. So on the Jersey barriers, I don't know how you would do that, but I guess you'd probably only have room for a signature.
Yeah, let me talk to the town about that.
Although Marielle's little folder might be a good thing.
Yeah. Okay. Excellent. Anything else I forgot to put on? The mind, first thing to go.
No, we had a lot going on.
Yeah.
There's a lot there.
All righty. With that, is there a motion to adjourn? Sue, is there a second? Latanya, seconds. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Put those hands up. All righty. Passes unanimously. Thanks, everyone. Great meeting. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Take care. Bye now.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.
Bye.